Hello friends, a very warm welcome to my channel. Today we are going to do the analysis of BSE Limited, which is the oldest stock exchange in India and one of the largest in Asia and the world. It's going to be a very interesting analysis as it's a completely new sector we are going to analyze today. And we'll also compare this with NSE Limited and understand which stock exchange is growing faster and what should be an ideal choice of investment for you as an investor. So if you're new to the channel, please do subscribe and hit the bell icon. And if you want notifications of all the new videos which I upload, hit the bell icon and activate the notifications. If you're not a part of the Telegram channel yet, please do join as we discuss lots of news, views and analysis on our Telegram channel daily. So let's get started. So BSE Limited was not just the first stock exchange in India, but the first exchange in Asia, and it was started in 1875. So it was started way long back. It facilitates trading of various securities like the cash segment, derivatives, debt instruments, insurance and several other new products have also been launched in the BSE. In terms of speed, it is one of the fastest stock exchanges of the world and its speed is about 6 microseconds. This was listed on the NSE in 2017 and BSE also has a new segment which is the SMEs listed on the BSE, where small and medium enterprises are given an opportunity to list on the stock exchange with limited compliances, and they eventually come to the main board. So there are more than 250 such small enterprises already listed through BSE in India. And recently the company has also started an international stock exchange called India INX at the Guild City, Gujarat. So a few more facts about BSE. It is the 8th highest stock exchange globally with a market cap of about 3.48 trillion. And in terms of electronic book trades, it is the 9th largest globally. In terms of number of companies listed on the stock exchange, BSE is the highest globally with more than 5,000 companies listed. And in terms of currency options trading volumes, it is the second largest globally. In terms of futures trading volume, it is again the second largest globally. So by these facts, you can understand it is not just in India, but globally one of the leading stock exchanges. Now let's talk about a brief history of the company. It started in 1875 and during the period from 1875 to 2011, they initially started as Native Shares and Stockbrokers Association. So it was not called BSE when it started, and later it got corporatized and became into a company form. Also started a mutual fund platform during this period, which is called Star MF, through which people can buy and sell mutual funds online. 2012 to 2015 period, they started the BSE SME platform, which is again for the small and medium enterprises to be listed with lesser regulations on the stock exchanges. Also launched the currency derivatives segment during this period, and they also launched the interest rate derivative platform during this period. BSE became the fastest stock exchange in the world with a response time of 6 microseconds. During 2016 to 17, they started trading sovereign gold bonds on BSE, and our Prime Minister launched the India INX, the international stock exchange for people staying abroad to invest in India and the people staying in India to invest abroad during the period 2016 to 17. And in India, BSE became the first listed stock exchange during this period. In 2018 to 19, the commodity derivative segment was launched on BSE. They did a joint venture with EBIX to undertake insurance and sell insurance products. They did a joint venture with PTC, which is Power Trade Corporation, and ICICI Bank to launch a power exchange. So this is in competition with IEX. During the period from 2020 to 21, they started the commodity options in gold, M and silver kgs, and they also started the electronic spot platform for agricultural commodities also on BSE. The original Star MF mutual funds platform was further upgraded to Star MF Plus, which included the services for the dealers or the distributors of mutual funds. So earlier it was only for the end customers. Now the distributors of mutual fund can also use this platform to sell mutual funds to this platform and also manage their client data. During the period from 2021 to 22, they set up a wholly owned subsidiary called BSE Administration and Supervision Limited. This was to monitor the investment advisors registered in India by SEBI, and they also started the delivery based futures contract in Sufi steel billets. The management, as you know, Mr. Ashish Chauhan, who was the existing CEO of BSE, has recently resigned and he has joined NSE. So his place is yet to be filled, and this will be a critical move or the critical step in deciding BSE's future and its competition against NSE, and we have to very closely watch this movement. In terms of business, there are several segments in which BSE operates. Let's start with the trading and clearing segment, which is the most commonly used segment in BSE. Under this, various securities and instruments are traded like equity, debt, equity derivatives, commodity derivatives, currency derivatives. Then the SME companies are listed and traded. The interest rate futures are traded. Then the SME startups, another platform under the SME, there is specifically SME startups also available on the BSE. And recently launched the agricultural commodity spot market can be traded on BSE. So that you can see almost every security which is available in India can be traded through the BSE stock exchange. The next segment of their business is the distribution segment. In the distribution segment, they mainly cater to the mutual fund distribution, the book building services which they do for IPOs, the offer to buy and offer to sell services by different companies. They also have a bond platform, and they also sell the insurance products to the distribution segment. In their services to corporate segment, BSE renders certain services to the corporates in India. Like if some company wants to get listed on the stock exchange, they provide the services of equity listing. They also list the debt securities of different companies. They also list the mutual funds of the mutual fund companies. A few other services other than their main segments which they provide is the data feed services, index services, and some other software and training services also. In terms of the equity performance of the trading division, the average daily turnover has increased from about 40,252 million per day in 2016-17 to about 53,961 in FY 21-22. So before COVID, you can see there is a slight declining trend of the average daily turnover on BSE, and post COVID it has increased as the number of participants in the market has increased. The transaction charges, which is the income for the stock exchange in million, has again a similar trend, which is a decrease from about 1442 million rupees in 17-18 to about 678 million rupees in 19-20. This went up to about 20-21 million rupees in FY 21-22 because the number of people participating in the markets have increased. So this increase doesn't mean that BSE has gained any market share. Under the equity derivatives segment, the average daily turnover, if we compare quarter on quarter, it has remained flattish in the last 3 quarters, and then the latest figure is about 2480, 221 in Q4 FY 22. The average daily number of contracts have improved up to Q2 FY 22. But there's a slight dip to about 2.59 million in Q4 FY 22. The currency derivatives segment, the average daily turnover is about 266,716, which has grown at a CAGR of about 13% in the last 5 years. And the transaction charges, which went up to 82 million rupees in F17-18, have come down to about 62 million rupees in FY 21-22. So you don't see a steady increase in the currency derivatives segment. When we talk about the commodity derivatives, it has improved from about 2563 million average daily turnover in FY 18-19 to about 29,694 in 21-22. So there is a substantial increase in the commodity derivatives as it was a recently started segment. But when we compare with NSE, you will know that there is much more volume on the NSE. So these are some features of their Star Mutual Fund platform, which gives the buyers and sellers an advantage to transact online. So remotely it can be accessed, and anytime somebody who wants can buy or sell mutual funds through this platform. It also facilitates SIPs for people who want to invest. It doesn't require any paperwork, and all the transactions can be done electronically. It is available through various platforms like the websites as well as mobile apps. As we have discussed, this platform is not just for the end users but also for the distributors of mutual fund. So as a distributor of mutual fund, what are the features you can access on this platform? You can create profiles of your investors. You can also create your own solutions as a distributor. You can onboard the clients by doing eKYC. You can create customer portfolios and share details with your customers. So like this, you can provide a complete solution to your customers through the Star MF platform as a mutual fund distributor also. In terms of performance, this platform has seen good traction. When it was started in 16-17, the number of orders received in terms of million were about 6.5, and in the latest year FY 22 it went up to about 184 million. So it has grown almost at a 100% CAGR year on year. The revenue to BSE from the mutual fund platform has also shot up from about 100 million rupees in FY 17-18 to about 500 million rupees in FY 22. The next segment, which was recently launched new by BSE, is the India International Exchange, which is monitored by IFSC. In terms of shareholding, BSE holds about 61.93% in the India INX, and in the India ICC, which is the clearing corporation for all the transactions which happen on the stock exchange, BSE holds about 60%. So on this India INX exchange, again various segments of securities can be transacted, like equity index derivatives, stock futures, commodity futures, and various other products, most of the products which are available in India. In terms of trading hours, it works for almost 22 hours, which users can access this. Through this exchange, what happens? People staying in India can transact and invest in foreign securities, as well as people who are staying abroad can invest in Indian securities. When we talk about the performance in the India INX, there were only 7,000 contracts traded in FY 17-18, and this went up to about 5,85,000 contracts per day in FY 22. The average daily turnover in terms of USD million went up from 107 million USD to about 10,132 million USD in FY 22. So this international stock exchange is also seeing a lot of traction. In terms of market share, the India INX stock exchange enjoys a market share of about 92% in the derivatives trading segment, and in the bond segment it enjoys about 98% market share. It provides access to more than 135 global stock exchanges for people to invest who are staying in India across different regions, and in terms of number of stocks, you can invest more than 30,000 stocks through the India INX. Next segment we'll talk about is the insurance segment of BSE. In this, they have a joint venture with EBIX, which is an international company. So under this, they have various types of insurance products which they sell, like the motor insurance, health insurance, and the life insurance products. In terms of performance, the total premium collected under the insurance segment has gone up from 45 million rupees in FY 21-22 to about 121 million rupees in FY 22. Total number of policies collected earlier in the previous year was about 5,800 policies, and recently was 7,259. So although there is an increase in the number of policies and the premium collected, but still it is a very small number compared to the Indian population and the size of the insurance market. So the next newly opened segment in the BSE is the agricultural commodities segment. This enables the farmers to sell their produce openly in a transparent manner across India and get the real value for their products. In this, various products like the cereals, pulses, oil, and several other agricultural produce can be sold. For this, BSE has entered into memorandum of understanding with various governments as well as the associations of different farmers. Now talking about the last segment, which is the services which BSE renders to different corporates, like the listing services, option to buy, sell, and other services. In terms of the listing fees, it has grown at a CAGR of 10% in the last 5 years to about 2202 million rupees in FY 22. So recently you see a lot of companies getting listed, and this is kind of a cyclic business, and if the companies listings are in a cooling period, which they don't get new companies listed for a very long period of time, then the revenue under this segment can drastically fall. In the book building and other services, there is again cyclicality, but still, as we see, on a low base of 16-17, which is 187 million rupees, it has gone up to 658 million rupees, which is in the last 5 years growth at a CAGR of about 29%. Another interesting exchange which is recently launched and which has caught eyeballs of all the investors of IEX or who want to invest in IEX is the HPS, which is the Hindustan Power Exchange. So this is again formed by 3 companies together, which is BSE, PTC India, and ICICI Bank together, and BSE has taken about 22.61% stake in this stock exchange. This is expected to perform all 24/7, 365 days, and it is like IEX where the power contracts will be traded on this exchange. In terms of technology, it will be supported by BSE, as it has a lot of experience in managing and solving technologies related to various exchanges, and it recently started operations in July 2022. Structure of BSE, as it has various investments in various subsidiaries. You can see there are several wholly owned subsidiaries like the BSE Institute Limited, Indian Clearing Corporation Limited, and several other wholly owned subsidiaries. There are other majority stakes in different companies, and through this subsidiaries and associate companies, BSE manages the entire business. Now let's talk about the industry in India. Market cap of all the companies listed in India together is about 264 trillion, and we are expecting this to go drastically in the next few years. We also expect a lot more participation by different people who are staying in India, as the penetration into the equity markets or the number of people investing into the equity markets in India is much lesser than the people who are staying or investing globally. Recently, the regulation has changed from T+2 to T+1, which has encouraged more participation for people in India. There are certain new segments launched like the social stock exchanges, the spot gold exchanges, and the silver ETF. We see tremendous participation from the foreign institutional investors in India. In FY 22, the FIIs infused almost 18.5 billion US dollars in the Indian market, and both the demat depositories combined, the total demat accounts in India stood at about 70.2 million recently. In spite of such a huge number, still we remain a under-penetrated market. So this industry will have good tailwinds going future also. What is the competitive edge or the economic moat of BSE when compared to the other stock exchange, which is the NSE or a new stock exchange which may come up in the future? In terms of trading volumes, it may be lower than NSE, but for a third party exchange, in case it comes up, it is not easy, as whenever a new stock exchange is formed, the buyer and seller expect their transaction to happen immediately, and hence they refrain to use any new platform and they stick to their old platforms itself. In terms of technology, as we have discussed, it is one of the fastest stock exchanges in the world, and BSE also has a very strong brand value and trust of the people, as it has existed for more than 100 years now. In terms of number of companies listed, it is the highest in the world, and it is also launching new platforms under its umbrella like the BSE SME platform, BSE SME Startups platform. In terms of corporate governance, it is very important, as it is a money matter in these cases. BSE has created strong corporate governance measures in their business. In terms of growth, BSE has been launching new products or new segments or new services under its umbrella. As we have seen, it has recently launched their insurance business, their agricultural commodities business. So like this, it will continue to launch new products, and it will be very critical to see how successful these are, as they will have competition from other privately listed players also. Their insurance business, although on a low base, has grown at a CAGR of about 95% in the last 3 years. In terms of number of accounts of investors listed on BSE, it has gone up to about 10.5 crores, which has more than doubled. So this is because there is an increased participation of investors in India post-COVID. So in terms of growth, we have to critically monitor whatever new segments BSE is launching to stay ahead in the market when compared to its competitor, which is NSE or any other stock exchange which may come up in future. And the performance and traction of these new segments will determine the growth of BSE. In terms of risk, there will be several regulatory norms which BSE have to adhere to, and there will be changes in these norms, and if there is any violation, it will be seriously taken. This industry can be a little cyclical, so if there is a downturn and people's participation reduces during a bear market for a couple of years, the volumes and the revenue of BSE may decline. In terms of technology risk, they have to be well protected, because if there is any penetration or any hacking or anything which alters the customer's information or disturbs any transactions, then the customers will refrain to use the stock exchange. In terms of competition, NSE is giving a very tough fight to BSE, and volumes on NSE are drastically increasing year after year. In terms of technology, as BSE is having a robust technology and the fastest stock exchange response time in the world, it should continue to maintain such technology, as people are very particular about the timing and the accuracy of the transactions when they do a transaction on the stock exchange, and if anything goes wrong, they will refrain from using the exchange. Now, after understanding the business of the BSE Limited, let's talk about the financial. In terms of revenue, it remained flattish during the last 4 years, from FY 18 to about 21, which ranges from about 600 to 700 crores, but recently in FY 22 it increased to about 841 crores. In terms of EBITDA, we can see a slight decline from 274 crores in FY 18 to about 200 crores in FY 21, but this improved to about 346 crores in FY 22. Now we have to closely monitor whether this jump which they got in FY 22 continues further, or they will go back to their earlier levels. In terms of EBITDA margin, the margins went down from 41% to 32% in FY 21, but they went up to about 41% in FY 22. Now again, we have to observe the sustainability of their EBITDA margins going further. In terms of profit after tax, if we exclude the other income of 529 crores in FY 18, it has remained kind of flattish from about in the range of about 200 to 250 crores. So there's not much increase at the bottom line. The profit after tax margin has also gone down in FY 20 to about 20% from 30% in FY 19, but it has gone up to again 30%. Now going further, we have to check whether these margins are sustainable or not. The equity share capital went up to about 27 crores in FY 22, as there were bonus shares issued during this period, and we see the reserve slightly going down because of the bonus. In terms of liquidity position, the BSE stands strong. They have cash and cash equivalents of about 3,500 crores on the balance sheet. So this gives this company to experiment with new businesses, new products, and also they can be open for some inorganic acquisitions as well. In terms of cash flows, the operating cash flows are sometimes going negative. So in spite of doing so much volumes and such revenues and having high profit margins, still the operating cash flows are sometimes negative in FY 18, 19 and FY 21. But they have done an operating cash flow of about 1,442 crores in FY 22. Going further, we have to see whether the operating cash flows always remain positive for the company or not. In terms of free cash flows, again, we don't see positive free cash flows from the company every year. So the 1400 crores of free cash flow which was generated in FY22, we have to closely watch whether going further the company generates free cash flows or not, because just profitability is not important for any company. Generating free cash flows adds a lot of value to the business of any company. In terms of ROCE, it has gone down from about 26% to 15% in FY22, which is not a good sign. So as you can see, the financials have not been so consistent over the last few years, and we have to closely monitor the performance of the company going further. In terms of shareholding, the public holds about 61.8% stake in the company, FII is 11%, DII is 1%, and the other shareholders about 26.2%. In terms of valuations, the market cap is somewhere around 9,000 crores and revenue about 850 crores. And EBITDA margin is close to about 41%, ROC is about 15% now, and it trades at a PE multiple of close to 39, which is much higher than its median PE of about 15 in the last 5 years. In terms of market cap to sales, it trades at about 11.3x, and the market cap to sales median in the last 5 years is about 5x. So in terms of valuations, looking at the past performance of the company, it is richly valued and the risk reward is not in the favor of investors presently. Now let's compare BSE and NSE and understand how both are competing or which one is gaining market share. So NSE has more than 2000 companies listed. It commands about 93% of the market share in the capital market segment, almost 100% market share in the derivative segment, and 95% of the market share in the currency option segment. In currency futures, it commands a market share of about 70%. So all these things we have taken from the NSE annual report. You can clearly see the leadership which NSE takes over BSE. In terms of revenue of the last 5 years, if we compare, we see a consistent increase in the revenue of NSE, whereas the BSE's revenue remains flattish except in FY20. In terms of profit after tax, again you see a consistent increase in the profit after tax of NSE in the last 4 years, but BSE's profit after tax growth has been inconsistent. You see that NSE is clearly snatching away market share from BSE in the capital markets in India. By this you can clearly understand, in terms of inconsistent growth and losing market share, you cannot afford to pay any premium in the valuations of BSE. Let's look at the chart. The chart remained flattish in the last few years, and it gave a good rally post-COVID because of the sector tailwinds and a lot of participation from the investors in India post-COVID. But now again it has went into consolidation, and only if the performance is consistently maintained, you can see another rally, or the consolidation may continue for a very long time. So whoever is investing in the company has to closely watch the upcoming results and the consistency of the results of the company, including the free cash flows of the company. Only if they are performing very well, then you can continue to hold, or else it can become cyclical and you may take a lot of time to recover your money if you invest in such companies. So this is about BSE. To summarize, let's discuss some thesis and antithesis points. In terms of brand and technology, BSE still is one of the leaders in India. If they maintain consistency in performance, they can take the advantage of the brand and the technology which they have. They have the largest number of companies listed. It's kind of a duopolistic market, although NSE is snatching away the share from BSE's hands. There are a lot of sector tailwinds as the participation from the various investors, especially the retail investors in India, will go up. So this will automatically generate huge revenues for BSE, although the company may lose some market share. In terms of new products and services, BSE has been launching and entering into new segments, and if those segments perform, it would be good for the investors. In terms of antithesis points, people prefer to trade on exchanges where the volumes are higher, and the volumes are higher on NSE. In terms of growth, we see inconsistency in the growth in the last 5 to 10 years. In terms of competition, they are facing tough competition from NSE, and in the new products also which they are launching, they will have private players to compete with. In terms of execution, it is very important that whatever they are committing in terms of technology and the services of the new segments which they are launching, they execute well. Otherwise, they will continue to lose market share in the new segments as well. So this is about BSE Limited. I hope you like the analysis and the comparison which we have done with NSE. I'm sure after watching this video, you will be able to decide and take a correct decision on investing in this company. If you like the video, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to join our Telegram channel as well. So thank you for watching and have a wonderful day.